Well, Razorback fans, we know it is officially game day eve. Arkansas and UAB fire it up tomorrow afternoon in Razorback Stadium. So what do we want to see from the Razorbacks? Well, let's talk about it on today's Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Neighbors. I am also the host of Inside Arkansas Live, which you can catch every weekday starting at noon on Inside Arkansas and InsideArkansas.com. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday. You finally made it to the weekend, and we know that in the fall, mostly, means football. Football on Saturday. You know, we get to watch some games. It's still early part of the season. And if you really want me to make you depressed, just know that after this Saturday, the college football season will be a quarter over. I'm sorry. I had to. But either way, it's going to be a game for Arkansas against UAB. It's their very first game in Fayetteville, which also has some new sponsored logos with Tyson and Walmart. No surprise, as it should be. But still, this is a game that I'm just going to be completely honest with you, folks. Arkansas should win, and they should win easily. I know that it's easier said than done. I'm not discrediting or insulting UAB in any stretch or any form or fashion. I'm just being honest with you. If Arkansas plays an A game, it doesn't matter how good UAB plays, they'll lose. In fact, if Arkansas plays a B plus game, Arkansas will still win and take care of business pretty easily. So still, it'll be pretty fascinating to see how the game goes down. But there are a few things that I want to see, and I think every Razorback fan wants to see in this game. Because if you really want to take it to another level, this is your last game before it gets real week after week after week after week. Because after this weekend, you go on the road to Auburn, you go against A&M in Arlington, and then you go Tennessee at home. Tennessee is a great team, top 10 team, maybe one of the best teams. The other two teams are beatable, but it's still tough in being in the SEC. So this is your time now. This is your time to get right. This is your time to settle in, correct some things, figure some things out, and then go. Get after it in the SEC slate. So we know that a few players aren't going to be playing in this one. It looks like Hudson Clark's not going to be in the game. Jalen Braxton probably won't be playing either. And we still know Patrick Kudus is dealing with the injury. So there's going to be a few guys that Arkansas is going to be without. But here's my thing. It's like we could sit here and talk about, well, what do we want to see from this player or from whatever. You know, I have seen already enough. Well, I shouldn't say enough. I've seen plenty from the offensive side of the ball to know that, hey, Jaquindon Jackson's really good. Taylon Green has a lot of skill sets and a lot of upside. The Arkansas wide receivers are really good. They got solid tight ends. The offensive line is very much improved. Like, I've seen enough of them to know it's like, it's there. The production is there. But what's not there is the small little details and the things that end up being costly. Like, for instance, turnovers. That's something I do not want to see. Now, nobody wants to see it. You never want to see turnovers. But the amount of carelessness that Arkansas has had with the ball at times is extremely alarming, and it doesn't need to be anymore. That needs to go away. So I want to see Arkansas just play cleanly. Just where your guy like Jaquindon Jackson, for instance, is not fumbling the ball. You're not having Taylon Green forcing throws that just aren't there and end up getting intercepted. You don't want to see bad snaps. You don't want to see muffed punts. Just things that are completely and totally avoidable. Like here's the thing. If the defender makes a great play on the ball and gets a pick, that's one thing. But when it's just a poorly thrown ball that shouldn't be caught by the wide receiver or can't be caught by the wide receiver, that's a different animal. So I want to see the team actually look decent, like when it comes to the cleanliness of their game. Going out there, taking care of business the way they should. That's important to me. What's also important to me is being physical once again. You did it against UAPB, and I'm not saying that UAPB is to the same caliber of UAB. I think UAB is going to be better. But you are an SEC team. You are better across the board. no questions asked. You're more talented, more physical, you're faster, you're stronger, everything. So show it. Don't struggle on the offensive line against this team. Do not struggle on the defensive line against this team. Don't struggle at all with this team when it comes to your physical prowess. Man up, overpower them, and basically have your way with them. Do whatever it is you will. You want to run the ball and run it effectively. Average 5 to 7 yards a pop, easily. Do those things and do it consistently. You do those things, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to feel good. Defensively, though, this is something we haven't seen much of. And I know Sam Pittman talked about it, and I know they're trying to address it, and they're trying to, approach it the right way. But pressure. I want to see pressure. It doesn't have to be simply, getting after the quarterback in a way of like, oh, you got to have a certain amount of sacks or anything like that. I just want to see it to where your defensive line, especially the front four, have plays where they're making the quarterback have to sweat it out, have to think, have to move. I want that. They need to have that. They need to show that. There hasn't been much of that in the first 2 games. Now, granted, some of that can become part of the offense of what they're running, and makes it difficult when they're throwing the ball so quickly out of the snap that you can't get so much pressure to them. But when the times do come where they're having to drop back further or whatever, find a way to put the pressure on them, find a way to make it happen. Just do it. You're better. You got Landon Jackson, who is a all-SEC caliber defensive lineman. He needs to show it. You got guys like Nico Davia, Cam Ball, who are bona fide SEC caliber defensive linemen. You need to show it. And you need to show it right now. Stop waiting on it. And I want to see also a team that just comes out pissed off. Just comes out not giving a rip about anything, being like, hey, we are not happy with the way things turned out last week. We're not overlooking anybody. We're not trying to avoid it or anything. We are going to come out and we are just going to play like this is the biggest game of the year. I want to see that. I want to see that anger, that frustration, but in a good way, harnessed in the good way of just showing that, hey, what happened last week, we are going to make sure never, ever, 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 ever happens again. And it doesn't matter against what team we're going up against. We are going to showcase that, hey, we are better than what we showed. We are better than what the fans dealt with last week. We're better than that. Take care of business. Because I'm telling you right now, if this gets into a game to where it's like 13-6 late in the second quarter, man, I ain't going to feel good. No one's going to feel good. No one's going to be excited about that. You got to be able to provide that confidence and show the case that confidence. Because I don't care who you are. And I don't care what you think. Auburn's going to be a close game. A&M's going to be a close game. Those are going to be close games. You got to find ways to win. But in this one, you shouldn't have to find a way to win. This one, you should just win. This one, you should just go out there and win big. So show me that. Show me what you're capable of, and don't worry about the rest. And honestly, I want to see in the fourth quarter starting, I want to see Malachi Singleton in there. I want to see Braylon Russell in there. I want to see all the second stringers, all the guys getting in there. Get out your starters and keep them healthy, because SEC play will be here next week. And we all know how difficult that can be, especially with the start of the schedule for Arkansas. So just do that, and I'll be all right. I think. Should. Hopefully. We'll actually talk a little baseball. Some big news in baseball happened for Razorback Baseball in just a second. So stay with us here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, folks, you Razorback fans out there, passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts that you need at all the prices you want, you can make it easy to make your car the MVP and bring home a huge win. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. We are also, of course, brought to you by our friends over at LinkedIn. When you're hiring for small business, you want to find quality candidates and professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right tools for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals that you can't find anywhere else, even if those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. So hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and may not have the time or resources to hire. And that's why LinkedIn is finding ways to make the process easier. They even launched a feature that will help you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker. That's why 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, so moving on into the next segment of the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I know it's been football all the time, and we love it, and I'm happy for that. But there was some announcements of Razorback Baseball. They They did. They came out with their official schedule for the 2025 season. Now, we're going to go through this and look at some of these games, and I'm telling you, I'm sure there'll be some math behind it and maybe some history behind it, but I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a schedule that is more difficult in Razorback baseball history. Again, maybe there's some others out there, but honestly, it's pretty good. So Arkansas starts the year with a 4-game series against Washington State in Fayetteville. Yeah, the Cougars, actual Power 5 team. They're facing off against them starting on February 14th. So it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then Monday deal, which is pretty common. And it's funny because they go from 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock to noon. So 4 straight games right there. Having a lot of fun with it too. So you got that. And then also you have, of course, as tradition, the College Baseball Series down in Arlington, where the Razorbacks will be facing off against Kansas State on Friday night at 7, TCU at 6 p.m. on Saturday. Let's open that same TCU team. And Michigan will once again play in it at 11 a.m. So Arkansas gets the great time where they get the night games both nights and then 11 a.m. to get out of there quickly on Sunday. So already off the bat, you're going to have some really good games and some really good teams. After that, you have 1 game against Grambling in a midweek, and then you have a 3-game series against Charlotte on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then you have a midweek against ULM, and then a Friday, Saturday, Sunday games against Portland. So nothing too crazy there. You have UCA in a 1-game schedule on a Tuesday, and then you get an SEC play. You go to Ole Miss to start the SEC slate. Ole Miss has struggled as of late, but any team in the SEC is always going to be solid. So you do that. Then Oral Roberts, you have a midweek game, which we know Oral Roberts has always got a pretty solid baseball team. Two games there in the midweek. Then you get South Carolina with Paul Maneri's the coach over there. Still crazy to think, but you get them at home. So they come to Fayetteville. Then you get Missouri State in the midweek on a Tuesday for 1 game. Then you go to Vanderbilt, which we always know Vanderbilt's going to be really good. So you got that. Then you get a little bit of an easier deal where you have UAPB in North Little Rock on Tuesday, April 1st. So that'll be the 1 game in Dickey-Stevens Ballpark. And then you get a home series against Missouri. Should be easy money there. Then Tuesday you play Arkansas State in a midweek in Fayetteville, bomb. Then you go on the road to Georgia. Dave Van Horn gets a face-off against West Johnson and the Georgia Bulldogs, who are really good and World Series caliber team, like big time. So facing them. And then you get UAPB again, this time in Fayetteville. So you play them in Little Rock, and then 2 weeks later, which is so funny, 2 weeks later you play them right there in Fayetteville. But I guess that's what they agreed to, so you got to give it up to them. Then it gets really interesting, too. So you didn't get A&M at home. Now, A&M doesn't have old Schloss anymore, but still pretty. They're always going to be at least a decent team to deal with. But you get them at home. Then you have Little Rock, Trojans, and Tuesday, Wednesday there in the bomb. Then you go to Florida, which we always know Florida is going to be good. Always. Then you go to Missouri State, who Missouri State is always a tough team. And you're going up there to Springfield. So kind of a unique deal where you're playing on the road against Missouri State and the Bears. Now, this is chef's kiss to end the season. Check this out, folks. You get Texas in Fayetteville for a 3-game series on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And here's the best part about it. The Saturday game is a night game, already been decided, right? 6 o'clock. So you get Schloss and the Texas Longhorns in Fayetteville first time whenever you play them as part of the SEC. Then you play LSU on the road, all right? Down in Baton Rouge, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a tough one, right? It is. And then to end the season. To end the season on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, you get a home series against the defending national champions, the defending College World Series champions, the Tennessee Volunteers and Tony Vitello. Now, as I said, it's going to be a tough schedule no matter what. I would be hard-pressed to find another time where this schedule has been that tough and that difficult. But hey, listen, you're going to have to do it. You're not making any excuses. But those final 3-game series, I mean, all of them are tough. But, geez, Texas, LSU, and Tennessee. Not to mention you're playing at Florida before that. So, I mean, you could throw them in the mix. That's brutal. That's great for baseball, but brutal. Arkansas is going to be a good team. They'll probably finish top 3 in the SEC. Just kind of the way that it's set and how good they are. But, man, Dave Van Horn's got his work cut out for him. There's no question about that. To me, I see 10-0 in SEC series once again. No, I'm just kidding. It's good that Dave Van Horn is getting the schedule ready as much as possible. I mean, they're going to have a good team. We know they got talent. They got guys coming back. They did a great job in the portal. If you listen to Andrew Ellis's bombastic edition of Locked On, you know that there's always going to be talent there. But man, Arkansas is going to have a strong finish to the season, and that's why you have to take care of business in the early part. You're going to have to take care of business in that series against Ole Miss, South Carolina at home, Missouri at home. Because then other than those 3, South Carolina will be probably pretty good, but at Vanderbilt, yeah, you're going to be tested. You're going to be tested, and you'll be hard pressed to find a tougher schedule than what this is. But we'll have to wait and see how Dave Van Horn handles it. But still a long way from that. But it should be a lot of fun when baseball season comes around. That's for sure. We'll look around the SEC here in just a second. So stay with us here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, all you Razorback fans out there, I know that you are all about eating. We're all about eating. Well, you need to fuel up with Factor's no prep, no mess meals so you can meet your wellness goals thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like the Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes or so. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always be able to have time to enjoy nutritious, great-tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. So what are you waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll have always the greatest and newest flavors to explore. You can crush your wellness goals this month with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. And just treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. And you can enjoy effortless support of your lifestyle where you can have 6 preferences, managing calories, maximizing protein intake, avoiding meat, or simply eating well balanced. So head to thefactormeals.com/LockedOnCollege50 and use promo code LockedOnCollege50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code LockedOnCollege50 at factormeals.com/LockedOnCollege50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is still active. All right, final segment here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast, folks. Listen, the SEC is always going to be an interesting one, and I'll be honest, I cannot remember a time that there has been weaker games in the SEC than what we are looking at this week. Like Arkansas and UAB, it is what it is. People are always talking about what Oklahoma State and Arkansas should have switched weeks, and I agree. But you got Alabama, Wisconsin. I mean, that could be pretty interesting up in Madison. But this is what's so stupid. College GameDay is going to LSU in South Carolina. How disgusting is that? LSU in South Carolina is getting College GameDay. Disgusting. But shows you how pitiful not only SEC football is, but the college football landscape. It's just terrible. I guess you have, quote, a top 25 matchup between Boston College and Missouri. It'd be funny if Boston College held their own to them, but still, that game's happening at 11:45. That's when you know you're a poor man's program, when you're getting a 11:45 game on the SEC network in a top 25 matchup. I love talking trash about them. Yeah, Oklahoma, Tulane, gross. Florida and A&M, too bad to below average teams. Meh. Ole Miss is playing Wake Forest. This is my favorite thing. They're playing them on the CW, like One Tree Hills Network. Like, I still need to find out more about that. 5:30 in the afternoon in Winston-Salem on the CW. Doesn't make any sense, but they are. UTSA is playing Texas. Okay. Vanderbilt's playing Georgia State. Okay. Georgia's playing Kentucky on the road. The way Kentucky looked last week ain't going to be a contest. Like, it's going to be disgusting. So that ain't it. Auburn, New Mexico, Toledo and Mississippi State, Kent State and Tennessee. Terrible games. Terrible games. Just being real about it. But we'll still watch them. It'll be a great day, though, in Fayetteville. I'm going to be at the game. I'll go to some tailgates, stop by some friends, and check it out. And weather looks like it's going to be nice. So it'll be good. It'll be good. Hopefully to see a lot of you out there and have some fun with y'all. May get you some great content. And hopefully a great weekend. Get you easy, smooth, really staying healthy type of game where no one gets hurt. Let's do that. Let's have that type of game. That's the type of game that I'm here for. So appreciate all of you listening in and watching into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter at John Neighbors Show for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have, and we will keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you then.